and then when I go to do it, it like sucks in on my face and like cuts everything off. I feel like I need to go. Strange. Anyway, welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about sweeteners, but before I get started on that, I wanted to mention that Perfect Keto is having a snack box sale starting today and going till the 22nd. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. I will be putting all the links after I'm done talking today. I can't do it right now. Can't figure out how to do that. So I will eventually. So the deal is it's basically 25% off and free shipping, and you get a box of cookies, a box of bars, and a package of nut butter. I think the price is like $68. So the link will be in the about section if you're watching this later. And if you're watching this right now, well, you can come back later and check that out. But I just wanted to mention that Perfect Keto cookies are my favorite. Now I will apologize. I sneak peeked you the peanut butter cookies last week or a couple of days ago, and I wasn't supposed to do that. So you guys know something you're not supposed to know. Sorry about that. Those actually until June, so keep an eye out for my review on those. But I have to say the chocolate chip ones are a little bitter, and they're available. So you guys should go check that out. Anyway, welcome. As you come in, I see there's a few of you coming in. I know you have to probably watch an ad before you come in, which is annoying, but I have no control over that. It just does it. And I just want you to say hello when you come in, and so I can see who's here. See, a few of you are here. Constance Dunlap, Keto and Low Carb and more. Welcome. Que sera, Sarah. And I just caught nap time. Good. That's awesome. Judy S. Welcome. Jennifer Costa. Hey, how you doing? Diane Keating, I am doing well, thank you. Bossy Lady Denise, welcome. I don't know that I've seen you here before, so welcome. All right. So I actually got suggested this subject by Melissa Weber, who used to be one of the moderators on my keto group. We met on the infamous Ketogenic Dieters board, and she was surreptitiously kicked out alongside me. And we kind of keep tabs on each other still a little bit. Sorry, I'm shaking everywhere. I was moving. I shouldn't move. Cannot move. Anyway, she suggested that I talk about sweeteners, and I realized that I really haven't ever gone in depth on this subject. I've offhand answered the question many times, and I've mentioned like what I choose to eat on my what to eat videos, but I've never really talked about which sweeteners I use and why, and which ones I think are good for keto and why, and which ones are not good for keto. So that is what we are going to talk about today. I'm not going to talk very long, and then after that I will turn it over to you guys for questions. So if you have anything you want to ask me, feel free to do that, and if you don't, well, it'll be a very short video, and I'm fine with that too, either way. So sweeteners. When I first began my ketogenic journey, I actually went completely sweetener free, because on ketogenic dieters, that is their basic premise, that sweetener should not be used. At the time, I literally knew nothing. So I literally knew nothing about keto other than it was working. And so I believed everything they told me as scripture and law, and I did not consume any sweeteners except for stevia for the first 8 months of my journey. I definitely recommend that because for several reasons. Number one, usually when you're going into a weight loss journey, especially if you're going to be willing to jump on the keto bandwagon, you are obviously probably a carb struggler, right? Am I right? Who is addicted to carbs here? Raise your hand. Right? Like we all are. I think pretty much everyone loves sugar. There's very few people on the world that don't have a sweet tooth. I mean, whenever I get to the point where I need oh, sorry, someone's messaging me. Don't distract me. Stop distracting me. Sweet tooth. When I'm feeling stressed out, I definitely feel the sweet tooth coming. Sorry. Why do they have to start messaging me right now? I think it's my kid's class, and I think he's late, and I can't do anything about it because I'm talking to you now. Sorry, kid. Anyway, where was I? Sweet tooth. So I think we all have that. You know, we all have that way to deal with stress, way to deal with, sadness, way to deal with just being bored. We all kind of turn to carby snacks. So basically the recommendation on that board that I still really, really love and believe in is that if you don't feed a craving, it will go away eventually. And I do think that is true. And so when it comes to a sweet tooth, if you want to kill it, you can't just go on keto and start consuming all of the sweeteners. Number one reason, it will taste cruddy because you're used to sugar. It won't taste that great, and so you'll be like, ooh, I hate sugar alcohol, and you won't really want to try it. Number two, because it won't kill your sweet tooth, and you're going to keep on craving that, and it's going to shoot your progress in the foot. So when you first begin a ketogenic way of eating, especially if you have any kind of issues with addiction to food or binge eating or anything like that, even just emotional eating, I highly recommend taking some time sweetener free. Now, there are some sweeteners that are okay to use during that time, stevia being one of them, and erythritol. Those two are more natural and I don't know, they just don't seem to affect people as badly. So if you really, really need it, you can have some, but don't have it all the time. Don't make desserts. Don't ketofy things, right? Don't make breads. Don't do anything fancy. Keep it simple. Start with meat, veggies, healthy fats. And I don't mean like tons of healthy fats. I mean like a little bit of healthy fat. Keep your fats lower, keep your proteins higher for satiety. I've talked about this stuff a lot, so there's lots of videos already on that subject. But in order to kill your cravings for those things, you need to completely eliminate them for as long as it's possible until you stop craving them. For me, it was about 8 months. So I realized when I lost the 100 pounds, I started YouTube. That's when I really started to think, I could probably handle a sweetener. Because at the time I was having yogurt, and I was using stevia and vanilla, or stevia and lemon juice in my yogurt. And so I was like having a sweet yogurt type thing, but I wasn't really using a sweetener. I can't even do that now. I don't even know how I could do that then. It tastes so gross to me now. I cannot even eat it like that. I've tried, and it's just ew. Now I'm kind of like the sweetener queen, as you guys well know. So after 8 months, and I realized I wasn't craving sweeteners anymore, and I knew that I could keep my sweet cravings in check, that's when I started allowing some sweeteners into my diet. So stevia and erythritol are number one highest recommended sweetener for keto, especially when you're first starting out. I wouldn't do any of the other sugar alcohols or things like that. Now, there are some sweeteners you should always avoid. Always. I mean, there have been occasions that I have consumed them, but for the most part, they should be avoided. And those, of course, are maltodextrin and maltitol. Both of those have been shown to spike blood glucose as high or higher than sugar itself. So obviously, you're not going to want to replace something that's going to shoot up your blood sugar and cause insulin issues, because that's literally why you got into this situation to begin with. So double check the ingredients on any products that you're using and try to avoid, like the plague, maltitol and maltodextrin. You will find highly popular keto snacks having those items in them, including pork rinds. Now, I don't recommend pork rinds because they're just a fat bomb and you can't count the protein because it's incomplete. But pork rinds, if you get flavored ones, often have maltodextrin. So that's like a double whammy. You're basically shooting up your blood sugar and then putting fat in your body, which basically means you're going to pack on the poundage. You don't want that. You want to keep things as clean as possible and keep your blood glucose level as normal as possible. So less spikes, the better, right? We don't want to be sending insulin off into our body. We just want to keep things chill. So another way you can do it is to make sure to see how it bothers you is you can test your blood sugar before and after. So you can test it before, test it 30 minutes, and then 90 minutes after you eat it, and see what happens. If your blood glucose stays relatively level, maybe that product doesn't bother you so bad, and maybe you'll be okay with it. Maybe it's not enough of it to really trigger you. But if your blood glucose shoots off crazy, or you're already a diabetic, you just don't want to mess with that stuff. So maltitol and maltodextrin, try to avoid them as much as humanly possible. It's not always possible, especially in a pinch, but you can do it if you really pay attention to the ingredients. Now that I'm back on sweeteners, I do have some super faves, okay? And the only thing I'm going to give you with a caveat, however you pronounce that, caveat, is it caveat? I don't know. Anyway, the only thing I'm going to say is sweeteners affect different people differently, okay? So, for example, I have a friend who, if she drinks a Diet Coke, will go completely blank in her head. She has like almost Alzheimer's symptoms from aspartame. Obviously, she's highly sensitive to aspartame. Her body doesn't like it. It's allergic to it. I don't know what, but she cannot consume it. Me, I could drink aspartame until the cows come home and never does anything to me. In fact, I never went off of my diet soda during that 8 months either. So I guess I was having aspartame as well. But like I said, aspartame does not bother me. It does not do anything. In fact, if it does anything, it makes it easier for me because it calms my craving down and like makes it so I'm not hungry. And so it can help me extend my fast longer, and it can help me stay more focused. I can't drink coffee because of my religion, and so it's my only way to consume caffeine, which I desperately need in order to survive. You know, I have 9 children, and so sometimes I'm tired. You can imagine. Anyway, so aspartame, I definitely love. That's my number one favorite. If it has aspartame in it, I will probably eat it. I love it. And very few things have aspartame in them except for Jello brand Jello, sugar-free Jello. And honestly, I don't really like that brand. I kind of hate it actually. But that brings me to the next step, the gateway that opened up the sweetener door for ketogenic dieters back in the day, right around the same time that I was starting to consume some secretly. The Jello got brought up on ketogenic dieters, and anyway, sugar-free Jello is high on my suggested list for avoiding food cravings, filling yourself up, helping you get through tough times. Okay, there's hardly any calories in it. There's basically 0 carbs in most of them, and they are very filling. And so they are really good. I don't count the protein in them because it's an incomplete. It's like collagen protein or something in them. My favorite brand is Winky, and I get that at Walmart in the yogurt area. And it has sucralose, and that is the reason it's my favorite. Well, there are 2 reasons. I love sucralose almost more than I love aspartame, and sucralose just makes my life easier. It's in Mio, which is what I put in my yogurt now, Mio water enhancer. I'm always mentioning that. I always have links to it in my about sections. I'm like, I love this stuff. And I think it's one of the best inventions ever made. But it's sucralose, and I like the flavor of sucralose for fruity things a lot better than some of the others, like stevia. So sugar-free Jello is the gateway, right? If you can handle eating one sugar-free Jello, and it doesn't make you crave more sugar-free Jellos, and you don't think about sugar-free Jellos, and you don't, like eat the whole pack of sugar-free Jello, then you're probably okay. If you eat one Jello and all of a sudden you find yourself thinking about nothing but Jello and wanting to eat everything, then you need to go back to no sweeteners. And that's kind of how you tell what sweeteners bother you and which ones. Okay, so if they cause you to have cravings and make your diet harder, they aren't going to be good for you. And the only way to know is to test them out. So I added sucralose into my diet, and it was like a godsend. I'm never going back. It is one of the things that keeps me sane. And of course, I believe it's an ingredient in my favorite new drink. It's gone, but I think it's got sucralose in this one. I actually am not 100% sure on that. But it tastes so good, it has to. It's way better than aspartame. Oh, I can't even find it. Maybe it doesn't. It has a bunch of stuff in it, but I don't see that. So maybe I'm wrong. I know that Monsters do, though. Monsters have sucralose in them. So yeah, sucralose is a good one. Stevia is a good one. Erythritol is a good one. Another new one that's fairly popular, it's not really new, but it's being more widely available, is monk fruit. You can get monk fruit just like you can erythritol in powdered form. It makes really good, because I don't make that type of thing very often, and most products don't really have monk fruit in them. But if a product has monk fruit, that always makes me happy, because I know it doesn't bother me, it doesn't trigger me, and I know it tastes good. So monk fruit is another really good one. I'm trying to think. The sugar alcohols, I don't really like any of them except sucralose and erythritol. I'm trying to think if there's any other really good ones that I like. Those are the most common. I don't think there's any that I can think of right offhand. Obviously, maltitol you'd want to avoid. There's one other one that you want to avoid, but I can't remember what it is right offhand. It's not very popular, so it doesn't get used very much. I wonder what sweetener is in these keto cookies that are right in front of me staring at me. I think, oh, I remember now. This one has a couple of different ones. It has the two that I wanted, one that I mentioned, erythritol, but it also has one that's kind of tricky. And it's another one of my favorites, allulose, or allulose. I don't know how you pronounce it, but allulose is really, really awesome. It gives a nice, like, I don't know, I have some of it in a bottle, and it's really syrupy. It's almost like a corn syrup. It burns when I put it in my truffles. I can't use it in truffles because it makes them burn. So it's definitely something that's kind of sugar-like, but it literally passes right through your system. The thing is that allulose has not been classified as a sugar alcohol, and so it won't be subtracted on the label. So if you're like confused when you get a product and it says 4 net carbs on the front, but you go back in the back and you read like there's only 4 grams of sugar alcohol and 3 grams of fiber, and there's still like 7 net carbs, but then you realize there's 3 grams of allulose. They can't really know about other countries, but it is subtractable. So remember that. So like a lot of people talk about the Quest Hero bars. They're not my favorite. They don't have super high protein, so I don't eat them very much. But they also have allulose in them. And so they make a really good treat bar if you're looking for something that's sugary when you really want to go on sweeteners. So I think that's all of them, unless you guys can think of anything else. But my big advice to you is if you are new at keto and you are struggling with a sweet tooth, do not have them. Kill your craving first. Make sure you got a handle on this whole keto thing. Then slowly reintroduce them into your diet and see how you react. If you all of a sudden pack on a ton of water weight, or if you all of a sudden just start craving everything, or if you all of a sudden feel hungry all the time, or if you just get ornery, or if you can't remember things, pull it back out of your diet and make sure it was that. And then just tell yourself, oh, dang it. I know like Keto Diamond can't have any of these sweeteners. She does not do well with sweeteners at all. Me, I've done sweeteners since 8 months in, and I've been thrilled and happy all along. So each person is different, and the only way you're going to know if a sweetener is going to work for you is if you try it. And I recommend trying it by itself, so don't like pack on a whole bunch of them. You know, go get a pack of those sugar-free Winky Cellos and eat one and see what happens, and go from there. If you find that you're eating too many of them, like my situation right now, whatever one is triggering you or is causing you to want more, you should pull it out of your diet. So I don't know what they put in that spray whipped cream, that Walmart spray whipped cream. I can't remember what's in that, but I can't stop thinking about that stuff if I eat it at all. So I can't even get it. If I have some regular heavy cream that I whip up myself with some stevia and erythritol, it's fine. But if I have that spray can, I'll eat the entire spray can and think about another spray can tomorrow. So I know it doesn't work for me. Smart Sweets are kind of that way. I can't eat it. I can't just eat one, or if I have them, I want to eat them all the time. I think about them all the time, and so that's why I don't get them very often. Same with Built Bars. They have maltodextrin in them, and so I only get them if I really want to treat, because they taste like one of my favorite candies. Especially at Christmas, I like to have one because they have like an orange chocolate, but it has maltodextrin, so it's obviously, it can't be an everyday thing. So for me, everyday things are going to be sucralose, stevia, erythritol, allulose, monk fruit. Those are the ones that I will do on the daily if I feel like I can. Or, you know, like right now I'm packing on the pounds. So who the heck knows what's going on? I don't think it's the sweeteners. People always tell me it is, but I eat the sweeteners so much all the time that I really don't think it's that. I really think it's the calories. I'm just not tracking, and I'm eating too much, I'm sure. So that's all I have. So that's the whole thing for sweeteners. If you guys have anything else you want to add to that, go ahead and start commenting. I'm going to go back up to the top of the comments and see if there are any questions. And if there aren't, we'll just call it good and move on for today. But I appreciate you guys being here, and definitely go back and check later for that Perfect Keto link. They are an awesome company. They're very generous too. They definitely make us feel appreciated and loved. And you know, I love the company. It's a good company. I don't love all of their products, but I definitely love the cookies. They're so freaking good, especially the chocolate chips. Chocolate chip ones are so good. All right. Hey, Esther Hunter is here. Welcome, girl. It's good to have you. Patricia Palmer. Hi. Teresa. Oh, man, I messed this up. Schmeising, I hope, from North Dakota. Felicia Walker, welcome. Tammy Posey Level, hello, girl. Rebecca Smith, hi. Let's see. Angela Piccoletta, what a pretty name. Welcome. Howdy. I love it. She's got her last name is Piccoletta and she says howdy. I love it. Okay, so Esther says, I like ranch dressing, but I like for any other salad dressing to have a sweet hint to it, and I gravitate towards stevia in my tea and coffee. I do take a break sometimes. Yeah, I don't eat a lot of salad dressings because, number one, they're just fat, and I'm trying to reduce my fat when I'm trying to cut fat off my body. So I do have ranch dressing if I'm going to have like something that has, that if I go get a salad, but I don't have salad at home very often. It's not a thing that I do regularly, but I know a lot of people who do. Sarah Pearls of Wisdom, she uses just like macadamia nut oil or walnut oil or things like that on her salads, and lets that flavor go that way. Let's see. Sorry you guys had to watch a commercial. Welcome, Melissa. Lisa says she loves equal aspartame. If she's addicted and she says she can't stop. Okay, yeah, if it's something that you can't stop thinking about, you should definitely try and remove it from your diet just so that you can have control. You know, take it out of your diet for 2 months and then bring it back in a little at a time and see how it goes. You know, it doesn't mean it's not an all or nothing thing if it's just an addiction type craving. So if you can kill the craving for it, you can have it. It's just that when the craving comes back, you know it's a no-no for you and you gotta like move on from that. Lisa Sum says sugar alcohols are like laxatives in my system. Try to stay away from sugar-free products because so many have sugar alcohols in them. You know, I don't really have that problem with erythritol or sucralose. I only ever get laxative effects from maltitol, and maltitol is just a no anyway. So, yeah, definitely I wouldn't do those ones. But yeah, like if it bothers your gut, you can't have it. Some of them cause me a little bit of a gas problem. Like if I eat too many Lily chocolate chips, the erythritol will bother me, but it takes quite a bit. So I don't eat very many. I eat about 20 grams a day if I eat it. All right, let's see. Lisa says, I have a hard time eating one of anything. That's why I'm here. Yep. Okay. So you're going to have to be really super strict with yourself. Track every bite. Keep it as simple as possible. And anything that you have the need to binge on, replace it with something like chicken breast. And like I've always said, like if you need a binge on something, that sugar-free Jell-O is the way to go because it will fill you up so fast. Like, because it takes up this much space in your stomach. And it's got like 5 calories. So even if you eat like 6 of those buggers and you can't even think straight because your stomach is so distended, that's like what, 30 calories. So in the end, it's calories what help us lose weight. And whatever we need to do in order to keep the calories low is recommended. So if you really cannot help it, it is a problem. You're having such stress. You've tried all of the self-care. You've tried everything on your list to keep yourself from eating, then that's when you can turn to foods for comfort, but only after trying everything else. I have a big, huge list of things, and I try and do at least 3 or 4 on my list. If I've done 3 or 4 on my list and I'm just like, I cannot stand to live unless I eat, then I turn to the sugar-free Jell-O above everything else. I don't put the whipped cream on it anymore because the whipped cream, I will just literally I can't stop eating. I'll eat the whole can. I can't do it. So just plain Jell-O by itself is what I do now, and that's what I recommend to my clients. Like if I'm coaching people, often I'm coaching people who have binge eating disorders, and that's what I tell them to do. If all else fails, turn to the sugar-free Jell-O and try and fill up on that, or chicken breast, because both of those are going to fill you up and make you feel really full without a high caloric number. Does that make sense? Everyone's like, I'm going to do an egg fast. And I'm like, don't do that. It's too high in fat. The fat and protein are equal in eggs. And then you're adding butter and cheese to them. Just don't do an egg fast. If you want to do some kind of crazy crap fast, do a chicken breast and sugar-free Jell-O fast. I mean, I'm going to come up with that because it would totally work. Just so you know, it would totally work. And you probably wouldn't even be that sad on it. You would probably like chicken breast. There's a lot of ways to cook it. Oh, saccharin. That's right, saccharin. I don't know much about saccharin because I don't think I've tried it. I'm not sure if saccharin is a name brand for something else though. Dextrose is just a sugar. I don't think it's a sugar alcohol. Yeah, you should definitely not eat dextrose. Allulose and homemade caramel. That is brilliant, Constance. Homemade caramels are some of my favorite things. Hot dang it. I should cook that, but I don't cook, so I probably won't. I guess when you're doing this, it's good to like not love cooking and baking because I'm so lazy. It's like almost all that I could do to cook up a chicken breast and put some tomato sauce on top. So more power to you if you're awesome and you make caramels. Oh my gosh, I'd love some of those. Lisa Thumb says, memories of my granny carrying around her sweet and lows in her purse. I love it. She put them in her coffee while eating pie at the cafe. Because why drink your calories when you can eat them, right? I get her logic. It makes sense to me. I love it. Yeah, the sugar-free whipped cream is from Walmart. I cannot have it, but maybe you guys can. Maybe when I first started eating it, I could put it on 3 Jellos and like have a little bit, or put it on a chocolate and have a little bit. But then it got to the point where all I could think about all day long is that stupid can of whipped cream, and that's why I gained 10 pounds over the holidays. It was eating can after can after can of that sugar-free whipped cream. So yeah, it doesn't work for me. Dang it, which is annoying. And having to make my own whipped cream is a lot more of a deterrent as well because I don't really want to. It takes forever. So I don't have it very often. Let's see. Jackie Perez says, I get really crazy cravings with sucralose and personality swings. Bummer. It's my favorite because the taste is so good. That's so sad. I'm sorry, Jackie. But you know what? That's why I said it's individual. You have to see if it bugs you. If it's going to bug you, you could just take it out of your diet. You don't want to risk being crazy, and you don't want to risk being always thinking about food. The point of this is to stop yourself thinking about food and have control. If it doesn't give you control, no sense in using it. All right, let's see. Very good question. Kesara Sarah says, hey, Tammy, do you up your Solé water in the summertime? I sure do. Yes, I do. Anytime I'm sweating, exercising, I take even more sodium. So yeah, I'm probably taking way more than, like right now I'm taking about 6 tablespoons, but by summer I will be taking 8 to 10 usually. And I just go by how I feel. So if I start to feel woozy or just even a little bit muddle-headed, I'll be like, oh, gotta have an extra. Or if I start having like chest pain, because sometimes I'll get this weird like tightening in my chest, and right now tightening in my chest is literally the last thing I want to feel. You know what I mean? You know. So if I start to feel that, I'm like, I run and grab my Solé. That doesn't usually happen unless I'm having a water weight whoosh, as you guys know, I have not had much of this month. But that's probably because of the Smart Sweets. I'm not having any this week, so hopefully we'll see. Where did you find the allulose? I bought it at our local, like, natural food stores. It's called Harmon's. I just bought it, like, in the sweetener section there. Probably you could find it on Amazon on Whole Foods or Amazon itself. I mean, I don't know. I've never bought it online. I'm sure you can find it lots of places, though. But I don't really use it that much. Like my go-to, I have the stevia erythritol great value squirt thing in my Creo brew or my tea, my herbal tea, or I will have Mio. Like, oh no, and I use the powdered erythritol if I'm making like the cream cheese frosting on my chaffles that I make every once in a while when I have blueberries. But I also use Mio in that. So I use sucralose and that powdered. Powdered erythritol is freaking good. Just so you guys know. Tastes really good. Especially if you haven't had sweeteners in a really long time. Oh, that was the other thing. If you haven't had sweeteners in a really, really long time, sugar alcohols will taste like heaven. If you try and do sugar alcohol straight out the gate, you're going to think they taste like a piece of crap, because they really do. It just takes a while for your body to just like get rid of the whole sweet thing and start over. And then your body learns to like it. It's the weirdest thing. Just like your body learns to crave the sodium. It's just, you can train it. You can train it to be in control and to like different things. It's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Yeah, Lisa, if you have a hard time not eating 2 of everything, don't do the whipped cream. It's better to whip up 5 tablespoons of whipped cream with some Mio in the whipper and just eat that than go the Walmart sugar-free. It is my nemesis. If you guys see me eating it, you'll know that I have given into a major craving. It is so bad. When I'm shopping on the Walmart app every week and it pops up in front of me, I want it so bad. That's how addicted I am to that stupid whipped cream. It is that yummy. It is so good. Okay, stop thinking about it. I gotta stop thinking about it. See, right now I'm craving it. You guys are making me crave it. You can have as much stevia as you want, Ananya Sengupta. You can have tons of stevia, however much you want. Stevia usually doesn't bother people, and it's very natural. It's not a sugar alcohol. It's the best one out of the bunch. If you're going to choose something, go for stevia for sure. Yes. All right. How much weight did I lose, and how long did it take? That is a good question. I've been doing keto for over 3 years, almost 3.5 years. The very first year of keto, well, the very first 8 months of keto, using no sweeteners but stevia, I lost 100 pounds. That's when I started my YouTube channel, because I wanted to teach other people how to do this. I lost another 38 pounds by the end of the year. So my first year, I lost 138 pounds. My starting weight was 374. Last year in September, I finally hit 200 pounds lost, got down to 174 after a lot of tribulation over the summer. I had to go really low on my calories to make it to that. And then over the fall, I gained 10 pounds back. And then I've basically gained back 17 pounds since September, which sucks. Which means in a couple weeks, I'm going to be having to go back on a cut because I don't want to hit 200 pounds again. And that's eating strict keto. That isn't even eating carbs. I'm still eating ketogenically. I'm just eating too many calories. So it's been hard for me to find my calorie level that makes me feel happy and yet doesn't make me gain. So I guess long story short, I lost a lot of weight really fast at the beginning because I was super, super strict. And then as I've gotten a little more loose about it, I've had times where I lost slowly, and I have times where I've gained it back on keto. So it really still is a caloric deficit. Ananya, if you want more information on how I did it or on how you can do it yourself, you can either email me at ketochaos@gmail.com and I'll send you my getting started guide, or you can join my Facebook group. The link is in all the about sections of most every video of mine. I don't always remember to put it in the live chat. I will put it in the live chat today because I'm going to be putting that information for the perfect keto cell as soon as we're done here. But yeah, join us on Facebook because you can ask all your questions over there and we'll help you out. I also do personal coaching, but I'm hesitant to do that because I just feel like I don't think people get as much out of it as they can just do on their own with reading my getting started guide. I don't know. A lot of people I coach, I like tell them this stuff at the beginning and then I never hear from them again. So it's weird. I don't know. People do what they do, I guess. Anyway, Ananya, I hope that helped. Lisa said, oh, ironically, she said, you were such a good coach today. Wait until the summer when I'm back on a cut. I'm going to be like pounding you guys. No, I'm just teasing. Any good cooking out for the holiday? You mean like for Memorial Day? I don't know. Like, obviously, keto and Memorial Day or summer barbecues go hand in hand. What I normally do for a special day is we will grill steaks or burgers or whatever on the grill, and then I make fluff. And that is something I do very rarely because just like the whipped cream, I could literally eat 4 pounds of it and never stop. It's so good. But I take a quart of heavy cream and I mix it with 2 packages of Jello brand sugar-free Jello powder. And I whip that up. And then I fold in about a cup and a half of strained, drained cottage cheese. So I take all the whey because the whey is where most of the carbs are. I rinse it in the colander and I fold the cottage cheese into the fluff. Like, I could eat like so much of that stuff. Like, it's so good. Cherry is my favorite to use. Cherry and raspberry are good. Anyway, so for a barbecue, that's what I'll generally do. We'll sometimes do like cauliflower mac, but like all of these things are really high fat. So for a holiday, what I tend to do is do the higher fat things that I normally don't allow myself to eat them for that one meal and then move on. And that's what I try really hard to do. So that's our plan for Memorial Day. Memorial Day, I think, is 2 days before my son turns 18. And so really I'm just focusing on his birthday this month. He's supposed to, I mean, he's homeschooled, but he would be a graduating senior. And, you know, I mean, we're not doing any big party because we can't. And I don't know, he's probably feeling pretty bummed out. I would be, but well, me. And so I'm really trying to think of just ways to make him happy. I haven't really thought about Memorial Day that much. That's the holiday you mean, right? Is that the only holiday I can think of? At least in this country. I love it. Okay. Lisa Sum says, I'm with you on this, Tam. It's not about the food. It's about how our brains and emotions respond to it. I can binge on celery during emotional breakdowns. It's the urge to medicate with food for me. Hey, celery's a great one. Like, if celery makes you happy, freaking binge it. Oh, I can't binge on celery. Celery and cucumber, things like that, are pretty much 0 calories. You can just eat as much as you can stand to eat. It just goes right through you. Pickles are also good because pickles have sodium, which gives you an extra boost. If you're feeling hungry or craving, I always say go to sodium first, because a lot of times our cravings and hunger is triggered by low electrolytes. So I always say try salt. If all else fails, then you can binge, but try sodium, distraction, self-care, and all of those things first before you turn to food. And then if you just really cannot, then you have to have your safe food list. And if celery's on the list, then celery's on the list. All right, let's see. Are any sweeteners good for you? Not really. They're not. I don't think that any of them are bad for you. And that's the argument. But I can't really say any of them are really good for you. Unless if they keep you on your diet. Though, like I said, I'm a mom, not a scientist. I don't really know the answer if what those things do. I just know that there's tons of articles that say they don't cause cancer. So, okay. Ananya says, gyms are closed. What are you doing for physical activity? I am just on keto, not exercising. My first year, I didn't do any exercise. Actually, the first 8 months, I didn't do any exercise. I started dancing when I lost the first 100 pounds. I started doing like tap dance clogging. I did that for 9 months. And then this last year, I added in, well, last 2 years almost. Oh my heck. I added in ballet. So I do a lot of bar training for my strength training, and I do it online through online. My dance studio does all of our classes right now through Zoom, though they reopened yesterday, so you can choose to be in the class or at home, and I don't really love that. Yeah, that makes me not happy. But anyway, so I do dance, and that's the only exercise that I do. If you're going to exercise, honestly, the very best exercise to do is strength training. So sit-ups, push-ups, bar work, anything that's lifting that you can lift around the house, lifting weights, anything that's going to build your lean mass is going to be best for you because it means you'll burn more calories. If you're sedentary, you could be losing lean mass. If you're not eating enough protein, you could be losing lean mass. So raise your protein level on your keto diet and lift. Do strength training. That's the best thing that you can do at home. You don't need the gym. There's tons of videos on YouTube. Get yourself a nice size kettlebell. There's tons of kettlebell exercises on YouTube. I just don't do it because it's just not my thing. But if it's your thing and you want to go to the gym, make yourself a gym at home. Use, be creative. And there's tons of videos on YouTube. So really, there's lots of options out there for strength training at home. Cardio isn't that important. If you hate cardio, don't do it. If you like it, like me, I like to clog. I like to do my clog dancing. I do it on Tuesday nights. Yeah. And I like it. It's fun. And I work up a sweat, but I don't think I burn very many calories, and I don't do it for weight loss. I do it just because I like it, because it's fun, and because I can, because I couldn't before. So there's that. All right. Oh my gosh. Lisa Sum says, Fluffy Tammi is awesome to watch. I started watching over 100 pounds of Tammi ago, and it's so inspirational. I really wish that I had thought to start YouTube. Like, I was never a YouTube watcher before this, and I never really got into the whole doing a YouTube channel. It never even crossed my mind. I wish that it had, because I wish you guys could have seen me at almost 400 pounds. I don't have any video of me, very little pictures. And it would have been awesome if you guys could have seen how big I really was, because I was humongous. I was so big, and I could barely walk up my stairs, and I live on the second floor, and getting up and down the stairs was like a huge chore. Getting in and out of the tub was a huge chore. So dancing, yeah, no. I always dreamed of it. And this year I did take jazz, and I was kind of looking forward to being in the recital, but we just decided, the jazz class decided that we're not doing it. We don't have enough choreography down. It's too hard to choreograph without being able to be together, and then just all of a sudden go on the stage and try and dance together. Our dance was really we were all over each other, because it's kind of a lyrical modern jazz dance. So, alas, I don't have to do jazz on the stage, but I did do the class all year, and I still am doing it on Zoom on Wednesdays, just for fun with my daughter. I actually just posted a clip of that in not today's video on hide and seek, but I think yesterday's video, the one that talks about Sad Jasper. So if you want to see me doing jazz, I think it's on that one. Yeah. Oh, maybe it was the one before that. Oh, you know what? I think it was the one before that, because it was Wednesday night. It's hard to keep track. I don't know which one. Watch them both. Support us on hide and seek. It's spelled Hyde. Yes, I run 2 channels. If you didn't know that, now you know. Lisa Sums is one of my most supportive viewers. Let's see. Okay. Marlene Bowman says they're smoking ribs and having cheesy cauliflower for Memorial Day. That sounds awesome. Ribs is a good idea. It's a really good idea, because we don't do that very often. I don't know what we're doing. We haven't decided yet. All right. Okay, let's see. Pickled asparagus. That sounds interesting. I don't know if I'd like that, but I might. Esther Hunter says, I saw the video where you and your daughter and another lady were doing ballet, and it was beautiful. Oh, thank you. I post my ballet a lot over there on hide and seek. If I remember to film my class at Zoom, I remember to film the kids now that we're on Zoom, but I don't always remember to film myself. But I do still do it, just so you know. I am still doing ballet. Let's see. Yes, plain food is best, definitely. I don't know how to read those words. Sorry, Grzorgs. I can't even pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Hey, Jason is here. Eva J. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're almost done here, unless you have something you want to talk about, Jason. We already talked about all the sweeteners. Sorry, man. You'll have to go back and rewatch. Lisa says that hide and seek is the best wholesome, fun, and precious to watch. Just feel good videos. I don't know about feel good. I yell a lot. I have to say that I've come to hate the sound of my voice. Editing videos every single night, listening to how crotchety I always sound, and I'm like, how annoying grating my voice is. I sometimes wonder how you guys can stand to listen to me talk for an hour, because my vocal cords, something is wrong with them. Over the last 15, 20 years, I've noticed them getting worse and worse and worse. I can't sing as well as I used to. I used to have such a lovely, lovely singing voice. And now it's iffy at best. Like, sometimes it's stellar and sometimes it's And I've noticed with my speaking voice that it's kind of more irritating. than it used to be. And when you're looking at yourself editing videos every single day, like you get really picky about everything. And can I just say, these are coming off, I think on June 3rd. The dentist or the orthodontist asked me if I wanted to keep trying to pull my jaw forward so that my teeth would line up. I'm tired of it. I can't stand it. It doesn't go where it needs to go. So I'm just going to live with my weird jaw. Ugh. I'm trying not to think about it too hard. But at least my teeth will be straight. It won't stop my teeth grinding problem. It's only made it worse. And that's actually why I started these stupid braces to begin with. Believe it or not. But after staring at yourself all the time, I'm really glad that I did it, because when I go back and watch my crooked teeth videos, I can't stand the way I talk with my crooked teeth. Isn't that funny? You just get used to how you look. Anyway, my whole point is that I appreciate you saying that it's feel good, because sometimes I feel like I yell too much. Especially when the chickens are eating their eggs. You won't believe how much not nice words I cut out of those scenes. And we killed 2 of them, and still one is eating eggs. Little buggers. I call her grandma now, because she looks like an old grandma, but I know she's the one eating them. Jason says, you just did a video with 2 crazy ketos. That's awesome. Woohoo! I'm so happy for you. They're the sweetest. They sent freaking Ruby a giant dollhouse. I don't know if you guys saw that, but just to be nice, they just sent her a huge dollhouse, like a big, huge dollhouse. It's big. And they're usually here, or at least Joe is. So Jason can have company. All right, Tina, that's awesome. She said she started at the same weight as I am. Oh, same weight as I was. And she's been keto for 10 months, not one cheat day, over 70 inches lost and 60 pounds. That's awesome. Way to go. Way to go, Tina. That's awesome. Lisa says she likes my voice. Well, I appreciate you. Okay. That's a good question. Esther Hunter says, if you feel comfortable discussing it, do you find support from my church, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in what you're doing? I wondered if you got flack about showing the excess skin on the video. I didn't get any flack. Our church is kind of interesting in that we don't really, well, we try really hard not to monitor our personal behaviors. Things like that. I mean, people wear swimsuits, and I don't think that people thought that there was anything wrong with it. None of the people that I know that watched it said anything to me anyway, and they may have secretly judged me. I mean, we all do that sometimes. But yeah, I don't think, I didn't really get any flack about that particular thing. I do sometimes get flack about other things, though. If you would like, I can discuss that. So being modest is kind of an iffy one in our church. We're supposed to be modest, but we're also told not to judge each other, because we're all in different worlds and walks of life. So we don't really have a lot of people judging whether or not you wear your clothes properly, like they do in some cultures and religions. But we have a strict rule called the Word of Wisdom. And in the Word of Wisdom, we are basically told not to drink coffee and tea. It basically says hot drinks, but that has been spelled out by the church to mean coffee and tea. So coffee means actual coffee, tea means actual tea, including green tea. And that was recently added, which is a total bummer, because I know there were a lot of people that using green tea supplements. And so now I have to be careful about my supplements to make sure they don't have green tea extract. I think that ZipFizz does, and which is why I don't use ZipFizz very often anymore, because I think it has green tea extract. So I don't have any coffee or tea. If you hear me say I drink tea, it's always herbal. We're allowed herbal tea. Go figure. I don't know why. I really don't know why. We don't know why. It's just one of those obedience kind of things. One thing that I really get flack on all the time, I'm sure as well you can imagine, is energy drinks. Because a lot of them, first of all, you have to double check and make sure that the caffeine doesn't come from green tea. And you know what? I haven't checked this one. That is a good question. I don't know if it does. all the things I have to think about. Anyway, people give us flack because they think that the reason we're not supposed to drink those things is because caffeine is addictive, and we're supposed to avoid addictive substances. We also don't use any alcohol at all. We don't drink at all. I've had like 2 alcoholic drinks in my life, and that was totally by accident both times. And like, the server brought the wrong thing. So some people take it to a new level. They don't drink Coca-Cola. Like, some people are really particular about it. And the church has left it up to us to decide. And so far, I just don't feel like God is telling me, Tamara, give up the Bang drink. When he does, I will. I keep telling him, not yet, Lord. Not yet, Lord. None of us are perfect. We believe in repentance, and we believe that no one is perfect, and that we're all on a journey. And so we try to be really understanding about each other, but people do give me crap about that a lot. And also keto itself, because in the word of wisdom it says that we should live on basically grains and eat meat sparingly in times of famine. So I'm sure you can imagine that keto doesn't go over very well in the strict word of wisdom circle. Now, when it comes to the word of wisdom, there are things that are a hard no, like the coffee and tea. And there are things that are use your best judgment when it comes to sleep, when it comes to eating, and exercise. So it says basically if you will live on grain. So a lot of people are vegetarian because it says, though, if you live on grain and vegetables and things like that, that you will run and not be weary and walk and not faint. Well, maybe that was true back in Joseph Smith's day in 1830s. When the food wasn't as tainted, but it's not true anymore. None of my kids can eat wheat, and so it is what it is. And I always tell people, you know what? It's a spiritual journey, and I prayed about this, and God gave it to me. So I don't think God's going to give me something that's bad for me. So I do get flack on that, and basically I just throw it back at them. We have the ability to receive personal revelation. At least we believe that we can receive personal revelation for ourselves. And so if we have prayed about it, felt a firm confirmation that it's what we need to do, no one can argue with that. And so that's what I tell people when it comes to keto. I'm like, I think God wants me to be healthy and active and involved in my kids' lives and a good teacher and mentor way more than he cares what I eat for dinner. So there's that. A long answer to a short question. I hope that helps. I don't mind answering questions about my religion. I mean, I feel like everyone knows about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Most people know us as the Mormons. Just so you guys know, heads up, Mormon is no longer an acceptable thing to call a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's considered to be a misnomer, and we are trying to change the way people view us. And so, yeah, if you have a friend who belongs to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or if you know someone, see, Esther used LDS, and LDS is still a shortening. You're not supposed to shorten it, but it's better than saying Mormon, so I do appreciate that. We're just trying to change the narrative because we are a worldwide church now, and we want to make sure people know that we believe in Jesus Christ and we don't worship Joseph Smith or Mormon, because we don't. We worship Jesus. All right. Anyway, off on my tangent. Esther says, I was very proud of you showing the excess skin because it helped me to accept that it might happen when I lose a lot of weight. Great job. Thank you. I still hate it, but I don't know. I don't think about it too much anymore. Yeah. Hey, Niquina Nicole is here. She says she will definitely when uploaded because she's missed my Tuesday chat videos. This is only my second one for May. I had to not do it last week because of the orthodontist, and then I'm back today. So hopefully things will be moving towards the weekly live chat thing again. I hope so. Oh, Lisa says, don't forget to give me a thumbs up on the video if you're here. Minimize the chat, give a thumbs up, and then come back. You're so sweet. Esther Hunter says, not yet, Lord. How often have I used those words? Right, because, like, we're not perfect. We're literally not created to be perfect. We're asked to do our best. Now, I mean, other people may not believe that, but I believe in being kind to others as much as humanly possible, but I know I'm not always the kindest person. You know, I've been really judgmental about this whole COVID-19 thing, and a lot of people, I've lost a lot of friends over it because I'm really outspoken about wearing masks, not going out, taking it seriously, not believing in conspiracy theories, and my friends don't like that. A lot of my friends believe their freedoms are being taken away by being told to wear a mask, and I disagree. So it's been rough. I try really hard to be kind, though. And so it's hard. It's like somewhere in between, and I'm like, forgive me, Lord, because I don't know which way I should be doing. Anyway. Niquina says, I love how you answer just about anything. You know what? I would pretty much answer anything. I am relatively an open book. I might draw the line at my personal life unless I could be really roundabout, but I probably would even answer a question about that, especially since Dave isn't here and he doesn't always watch these all the way to the end. And when you get all the way to the end, you're supposed to get the juicy good bits, right? So now you guys got my whole testimony about church stuff. I love it. Goodbye, Marlene. We'll see you later. All right, guys. Well, I think that's probably enough for today. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel. And welcome to all the new people who join us and everything like that. Don't forget to check out the bundle, the snack bundle for Perfect Keto. I'm going to be putting the link in this video as soon as it's done rendering. So definitely come back and check that link out. If you're going to buy Perfect Keto products, you can use my link. It's helpful to me and I appreciate it. And I think that's about it. Love you guys. We'll talk to you all again soon. Bye.